All right, folks, a lot of speculation out there. There is a lot of speculation. Is Trump building the third temple? Has ground been broken for the building in Israel for the building of the third temple? And is this prayer that's going to happen tomorrow, Tuesday, all about the building of the third temple? What's going on here? I have a former Marine sniper and former high-level Mason who is no longer affiliated with the Masons coming on. Jason Gobain, good friend of mine, by the way. Met him way back in the days of Las Vegas when we used to hang out at the UFC fights and all that. Good buddy of mine. He's going to help us break this down. But I think there's some point of concern here. I think we all need to keep our eyes open, ears open, and definitely our mouths open, baby. Yeah. Folks, get your notification or hit the notification button. Like, share, and subscribe, please. It helps me help you. Also, Venmo, if you feel like giving a contribution, whatever, it helps me build up my studio, whatever I got to do. Get some lunch. Get some lunch. Sancho likes to get some lunches. Venmo is D-Rod1977. Also, When the Lights Go Out on Amazon. Please leave an honest review. My mama's book, The Mexican Mix. Folks, I wrote the last book, When the Lights Go Out, on my iPhone, okay? And it took me a month to write it. I'm thinking about writing another book. But it's a bestseller on Amazon right now. It's got 5 stars across the board. I don't know if you guys are just being nice because Sancho had a very destructive, degenerate life. Maybe you appreciate that. I'm being very honest in the book. Also, my mom's book, The Mexican Mix, there it is. So my dad, an update on my dad. He's getting out of the hospital today. Glory be to God. Oh, boy, God is really showing us a lot of mercy. We keep having these close calls with him, man, and the last 3 days, adrenaline through the roof, knots in my stomach, knots in my chest, and it looks like they're going to discharge him today. He's 91 years old, feeding tube in his stomach, oxygen, catheter. I mean, he's just Frankenstein, but he's still enjoying life. He tells me, I don't give up. I'm still enjoying life. So that's what my dad says to me all the time. And I'm really taking a huge example from him. Life is worth living no matter what condition you're in. No matter what conditioning you're in, you'll always fight for life. And that's what he's doing. So I would just really want to give props to my dad. I love him so much. And my mom. Love you both so very much. And for Tricia, who came down from Phoenix to be here with us, and my sister, and help us out and all this stuff. Thanks for her. We're going to be doing a show, an update on our parent situation, the home care nurses, the whole situation, the nightmare that we're going through. We're going to be doing a video in the next few days. That'll be probably live on YouTube. So that's coming. So also, Nino's Corner.tv sale, one-time Live Forever special is still up there. You guys are sending me emails saying you love that. You rather do that. So it's up there. It's still up there. I'm leaving it up there. A lot of you are gravitating towards that sale. So, okay. One-time payment, you live forever on Nino's Corner.tv. You don't have to suffer through monthly payments or yearly payments, nothing like that. It's just a one-time fee. Bam, you're done. Ringside with Nino. The next one is Wednesday, 29th, 5 p.m. Wednesday the 29th, 5 p.m. So we'll all network together. The whole thing, you know how we do it. Black Sheep family. It's great. Sheila Holm will be the next general in the general set in just 3 days on Thursday. I think that's 3 days. Yo, somewhere around there. Thursday, 5 p.m., April 23rd, Sheila Holm. Nino's Corner.tv, fire. Ismael Pettis is up there right now saying that Iran is the front for the galactic war. What's really happening behind the scenes, peeling back layers of the onion. Ismael Pettis is up there. Troy Brewer, unedited, is up there. The Ghost is up there, or he's coming on pretty soon. My girl, Kendra, the queen of peptides, is coming on to talk about peptides. Now, this stuff is just breaking the medical industry. This stuff is just on fire. So we're going to be talking about it. I'm on it, and we're going to be giving our 2 cents about it. And let me tell you, folks, this is the future. It's the future. So she's going to be coming on. Wano Saban's coming on today to talk about the arrests. Kash Patel's getting ready to drop the hammer. He's getting ready. And I've been told a window of time. Amanda Grace is coming on. Darius Wright, the remote viewer's coming on. Ian Wendt is coming on. Talk some stuff about Candace Owens, some stuff about Erica Kirk, what's going on. All great stuff. Folks, ninoscorner.shop down there below. ninoscorner.shop. Get yourself a hat like I have on right now. These are pretty cool, man. People are telling me at the gym, I dig your hat, dude. What is that? I go, it's Nino's Corner, baby. They're like, what is that? I'm like, you don't know? You don't know, baby? And the truth hurts. The t-shirts, truth hurts, baby. Or I'm sorry. The truth, it hurts as well. Truth hits hard, which means it also hurts. Truth hits hard. Folks, if you're a lot of you have been asking me what metals do I go into? Silver, gold. Well, there's copper. The U.S. administration recently announced a $12 billion critical minerals stockpile plan in a move to counter China's dominance that could reshape the mining sector. This is real, and it's happening right now with President Trump, with President Trump's backing. This isn't just about mining, it's a national security imperative. You want to get on top of this. In an official press release, the governor of Alaska has officially thrown his support behind one critical U.S. mineral project, Palmer. This is the name. It's called Palmer Project, and it's been singled out in a formal report to the White House as a strategic asset for America's mineral independence. Vizsla Copper owns 100% of it. We're talking about an asset believed to host in-ground value containing the copper, zinc, and silver that are critical to our military and defense readiness, our energy grid, and our national security. This isn't speculation. It's government-backed push to fast-track domestic production, and it puts Vizsla Copper trading in the U.S. under VCUFF, squarely at the center of America's next strategic supply chain build-out. We've seen this story play out before when other Alaskan miners like Trilogy Metals and Nova Minerals received government backing. Their shares soared over 200%. Now the governor of Alaska has officially thrown his support behind the Palmer Project, which was also named in the government report as a key strategic asset for America's mineral independence. And in my opinion, the market hasn't priced this in just yet. Vizsla Copper, which owns 100% of Palmer, trades in the U.S. under VCUFF and in Canada. So get over there. The link is down below. Get started on that. That's awesome, man. They reached out to me and wanted to do an ad. I was like, hell yes. So I'm getting started in copper. All right, folks, you might want to turn it down or turn it up, baby. Yeah. Gonna be a good show today. I got my buddy on, Jason Gobain. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. Coming at you live from the apocalypse, baby. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Who would ever known? Former heavyweight boxing champ. Now a YouTube podcaster. What do you know? Things change in life. I'm coming out. I'm coming out. Do. All right. So Trump is building the third temple or exposing Israel. What's really going on here? A lot of speculation developing around this. But let me first just start with Kash Patel. I had a long discussion with Juanito on the phone yesterday about Kash Patel, and they're smearing him right now for a reason. That's all they're doing. This is on purpose. Character assassination on Kash Patel is happening right now, and there's a reason, because they know he's getting ready to drop the hammer, and they must discredit him. So let me start with Kash Patel. The media right now actively destroying Kash Patel's character because he's getting ready to drop a major bombshells regarding Russiagate and the 2020 election. I told you, when the threats are neutralized, which they are, you know, as Trump said, Iran may get cute here and there, but they're neutralized. Once the threats are neutralized, bring in Kash Patel, and that's what's happening right now. Their only hope right now is for a character assassination or to sow some kind of doubt. And I've been told this is coming for a very long time from Juanito. The Brennan arrest has been postponed for a couple to a few weeks, but it's all coming. And now I'm looking at the window of now between July and July 4th. Kash Patel just said arrests are coming. James Comey is not going to be the only one facing criminal consequences. They tried to stage a de facto coup against Donald Trump, and they must pay for it. We have found out all this information. We are working with our Department of Justice partners, and I am never going to let this go. They not only have personally attacked the presidency of the United States and President Trump, but they try to thwart our elections and the entire system, folks. Yeah. We've all got the evidence. I can announce now that we got all the information we need. We're working with our prosecutors at the Department of Justice and their Attorney General, Todd Blanchet. That's how I like to say it. Blanchet. Todd Blanchet. And we are going to be making arrests, and it's coming, and I promise you, it's coming soon. He's giving his promise that it's coming soon. FBI Director Kash Patel just confirmed that they are folding they are folding the election into the entire grand conspiracy case, and promises that arrests are coming very soon. I've been told that we may even see Brennan Podesta around the same day or even in the same week. We've got all the evidence. I can announce it now that we've got all the information you need. We're working with our prosecution at the DOJ under AG Todd Blanchet, and we're going to be making arrests, and it's coming out, and I promise it's coming soon. So Maria Bartiromo then followed up and asked if the FBI has evidence of the election, to which Kash responded, "Oh, yes. Oh, yes." So we are so what we are doing is folding that into our entire conspiracy case. But we have the information that backs President Trump's claim of the election. But I would say stay tuned this week. You might see a thing or two. So this week we might see a thing or two. Notice he specifically said our conspiracy case. It seems like we're definitely getting close. And this is why they're going all in right now on Kash Patel and discrediting him and throwing him under the bus. Basically, they want to make you believe he's a drunk, he's a playboy, he's partying, he's not taking anything serious. They're really trying to discredit him right now. And trust me, I've talked to Kash Patel. He's a very serious guy. I've been around him. I've had him on my show. The guy's got a backbone and he means business, and he's coming for him. He's absolutely coming for him. So it doesn't matter what they say. They're trying to do whatever they can do to discredit him. But let's get to the third temple here. Okay? Let's talk about this for a moment. A lot of speculation. A lot of people out there saying, oh, he's getting ready. It's happening. The third temple's coming. They're going to sacrifice red heifers and build the temple. Well, there is a lot of stuff coming out. I'll say that. They definitely got the red heifers. But is this happening organically, or is it manufactured? So we are coming to, I don't want to say the end of the movie, but the part in the movie where Trump pulls the rug out on everyone, kind of like in The Godfather, and exposes it all. Or is he the great deceiver? He's definitely a magician, but who's he playing here? Us or them? And is he doing the same thing with, and I know this is very controversial. A lot of you, oh, you just can't say that. She's the mourning widow, David. How dare you? But is he doing the same thing with Erica Kirk by letting her tag onto his events and allowing her into his family events? Kirk Vance 2028. What's going on here? I'll be covering this, believe me. Or is he exposing them? This is what he does. He's done it with everybody. Fauci, everybody. And is he doing it with Israel? So let's start with the third temple. So it seems like they have broken ground in Israel to build a new and first ever historic temple. President Trump will be reading the Bible, specifically 2 Chronicles 7:11-22 in the Oval Office tomorrow, Tuesday, April 21st, between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern. Now, I've never seen a president do this before in my life. And if you ask Juan O'Savin, he's saying he's bringing the country together for something big that's getting ready to happen. That he needs to have everyone on board. Everyone needs to be in prayer for what's getting ready to happen. The big show is about to begin. So why this particular verse? Well, Trump will be reading this. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek and face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. I will establish your royal throne as I covenanted with David, your father. The scripture about Solomon rebuilding the temple. Folks, I don't believe in coincidences here. I really don't. This is all kind of lining up prophetically. And I think there's a lot here where there's smoke, there's fire. And Solomon completed the houses of the house of the Lord and the houses of the kingdom, and finished all. And the Lord appeared to Solomon, saying to him, I have heard your prayer and the supplication which made you to me. And you dwell in the place where your throne is. I will begin with the sons of Israel. Israel. If I did not agree from above here, where you are described to me, saying to me underneath, the wideness of your wideness and the height of your height. If you walk with me and if you keep your covenant, they will judge you, by which the kingdom of your house will be restored. And if you show your face to me and listen to my voice, I will also bless you. And in that place where you see the throne, all creatures will revive, and rains will come, and the city will be called upon by the people to receive the petition. Now me and you should pick up my ears to the voice of this caller, and I want to accept the most beautiful when your tribe casts the belly band, and you will instruct the chassis. I don't know. And I wish you to be accepted. And when your fruits are healing, and the healed will bless you. And now my people's kingdom is dishonorable because they have sinned. For those who are upright in all heart have pleased her and have raised her in every aspect. So that those who are troubled by Babylon and the place of Solomon's house must be annoyed. And if you listen to the voice of this church. So my buddy Jason asked AI what this could mean. If a person were to start building the third temple in Jerome, is he black? Jerome. Hey, Jerome, motherfucker. And quoted these verses from 2 Chronicles 7 beforehand, they may be using them as a form of dedication or consecration for the new temple. This is the response from AI. The verses speak about God's presence and his promise to hear the prayers of those who seek him at the temple. By applying these verses to the construction of a new temple, the person may be signaling their belief that God's presence will dwell in this new temple and that it will be a place of worship and prayer. It is possible that quoting these verses from 2 Chronicles 7 could be used in a way to pacify believers who may be concerned about the construction of a third temple and disguise the true intent behind it. By invoking these verses that speak about God's presence and blessing on the temple, the individuals involved in building the third temple may be attempting to assure believers that this new temple is being built for worship and prayer rather than for any other purposes. Could it be deception? However, the true intent behind this construction could ultimately be revealed through the actions and activities that take place in the temple once it is completed, baby. Pretty crazy times we're living in. Let's bring on Jason right now. Jason Gobain, my buddy. What's going on, my man?
How's it going?
How do you like that?
Oh, that was awesome. That's great.
It's entertaining, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So the Temple Mount. So I always thought, dude, the Dome of the Rock. I thought that was the prize. You know, I've always believed that. I always thought that something was going to, you know, where is this new temple being built right now? Where are we with this?
Well, so that's an area of contention. It's always been thought that it's supposed to be built on the Temple Mount. But it depends on the religious scholar you talk to, because there are some that debate that and say, well, look, you know, Scripture doesn't tell us exactly. It doesn't say that it has to be there. It does refer several times to the building of the third temple, because ultimately whoever sits on that throne ends up being the Antichrist or false Christ.
So is it any coincidence that all of this is happening right now with the UFO disclosure?
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of agendas at play. I mean, you've talked about it on your show plenty of times. You know, the deep state has their agenda. New World Order has their agenda that's kind of aligned, but sometimes, you know, you get, yeah, we've seen it with liberals quite a bit. You know, everyone wants their agenda first. And, you know, and some of them end up crossing and, you know, breaking down completely the other too. So, you know, that dissension, because they want their agenda primary, at least for them, what's most important to them is and has created problems too. So, and that's when things get exposed. it becomes transparent because, you've got all these everything that's going on right now. And it doesn't, a lot of it's contradictory. So, and that's the hard part too, at least for all of us, is to kind of decipher, first off, just all the deep fakes that are on social media, everything that's being pounded, in our face. But then kind of trying to read through all of that to get to the root of the agenda so that you can kind of pinpoint, okay, who's the jerk? Where's this coming from?
Right.
And that's, I think, and that's where people need, voices like yours, so that we can get together, talk about it. And a lot of times you're never going to get a straight answer out of consensus either. But critical thinking is extremely important in times like these. You have to question and doubt pretty much everything, and then dig deeper. Just to find out.
It's lining up, and like I said, I don't believe in coincidences. They're breaking ground to build some kind of temple in Israel, right? I mean, we know that's out there, that's circling around social media right now. We know the red heifers have been brought in, right? They're really trying to fulfill some kind of prophecy. And we know that Trump is getting ready to bring the nation into prayer May 17th. He's having prayer in the Oval Office tomorrow. Going to be reciting this, which to me signals some kind of temple being built. I mean, this is, and you being a former Mason, and I'm not trying to like throw you under the bus or anything. You were a high level former Mason, Marine sniper, the whole thing. You know about Solomon's Temple. It's this is what is going to bring in what, the Antichrist, right?
Yeah, I mean, all the experiences you just mentioned. I'll say this. I've had a lifetime of learning. When you're being led, you're not free. It's probably the best way to say it. And that type of structure comes from somewhere. So where did it come from? And the further I went up, the Mason route, the more real it became that I just, again, I grew up in church. I grew up in the Christian faith. And because of that, I knew that wasn't the right path for me. And I needed to exit, and I needed to do it in a way that
because you wouldn't turn your back on Christ.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So then that's to get to the next level that you were about to get into. They wanted you to do that. Was kind of the thing, right? That was what they were alluding to.
Yeah. I mean, I had serious doubts even before that. There wasn't open admittance to this, but some Mason lodges allow Satan worship on off days that we didn't go in.
Because they welcome all religions, right? So if you're a Satan worshiper, you're just as welcome into the lodge, right?
Well, that and the format, the black and white on the floor, the twin pillars, just the architecture alone lends itself to be, you can have it used for that. So, right. But even, in the military, joining that you're going to be taking orders from the top. So that could be from Joe Biden, that could be from Donald Trump. And that's ultimately, there's even reports right now that troops already in the Middle East are having so-called question on if they're going to follow orders or not. And you know what? I would tell every single military member that's actively listening to this, you better follow orders. That's what you signed up for. That's what you agreed to when you joined. And if you don't listen, then you know what? You're a part of the mass chaos and agenda.
So that's what they're really trying to sow, right? Like, so that's why he summoned the generals, Pete Hegseth and Trump summoned the generals to, they want to weed out they want to separate the men from the boys. Who's going to follow orders? Who's not? They renamed the Department of Defense Department of War for a reason. Trump is rolling up his sleeves, getting dirty, and all he's really doing is neutralizing a threat, the threat of Iran that was going to be used as a wild card by the globalists to be World War III or a nuclear holocaust. People don't understand that. So, all of this stuff is happening in operational phases, like the raids, taking down Maduro. Now we're neutralizing Iran, and I'm just surprised, man, that people don't see this. They don't comprehend this. They think Trump is just a warmonger, but they don't understand the operation behind Trump and what he's doing to take down the deep state global elite.
Yeah, and to that point too, you make up a really good point here, or you point out a really good point, which is, they're doing everything they possibly can to dissemble or create doubt in the totality of the plan. And you look at senators like Mark Kelly. Man, I better not bump into him, because you take an oath when you join the military, and what he's trying to cast doubt on with all troops is that they only have to follow lawful orders. Okay, well, the USCMJ is extremely it's detailed, but it's kind of like the Constitution. It doesn't get granular, and if there's a granular doubt, you don't get to debate that when you've joined the military. Okay, there are certain areas that certain laws that you have to follow, and if it were something that was completely unlawful relative to those laws, you have to take it up your chain of command. What Mark Kelly is specifically trying to do is create dissension in the ranks. That's treasonous. Okay, and you've got all of these, and he's using his military background to reinforce it, and that's what I have a problem with. I have a huge problem with someone like that has the let's say it on record acumen, because he served, that he's trying to manipulate people that don't know any better, or think that there is an option, and there is not. There is not.
Yeah, and he's also said that he's going to throw his hat in the ring to run for president or something crazy. I heard, or he's going to run for office, and I guess that's how these people hide, right? They're able to hide behind running for a campaign. They feel like they, once they put themselves out there, that they're untouchable.
Well, but at the time, though, it makes them seem more credible too. And it's just a ruse. I mean, how many times have you seen a politician say they're going to do one thing and then not do it?
99% of the time.
Exactly. So, his credibility already is shot by the fact that he's literally trying to create dissension in the ranks. Most civilians won't understand that, but everyone who's formerly served, who's listening to this right now, know exactly what I'm talking about.
So let me get your thoughts on this. Iranian gunboats fire on tanker in Strait of Hormuz as Tehran reimposes restrictions. Obviously, I think there's a lot of rogue terrorists in that region, right, that are going to be running around in their little jet boats firing at tankers. Those are what I would call speed bumps or small obstacles. Trump said, Iran got a little cute, but there are good conversations happening. So President Donald Trump says that U.S. talks with Iran are going well and that he expects to have more information by the end of the day. Trump made the comment Saturday morning during a White House event where he signed an executive order directing the Food and Drug Administration to expedite review of certain psychedelic drugs. I'm all for that. Designed as breakthrough therapy for mental illness. Trump declined to take reporters' questions about Iran, but said, "We have very good conversations going on." I mean, what's your thoughts on this, dude? You served, right? And so do you think it's mandatory? Do you think we're going to need boots on the ground in Iran for them to take down the regime that hijacked the Iranian government? Are we going to have to be there to make sure that things run smoothly as they transition?
So I'll say it like this, and I'm going to caveat this with the fact that this is my opinion based off of what, because I still have friends that serve and I talk to all of them, and there's, things that you can say and things that you can't, and you try and pull as much intelligence as you possibly can, just again, because I'm curious. But, on active operations, you can't reveal. But I will say this, and Trump has tipped his hat to this several times, and we need to listen. That's the best part about Trump is he does tell you in very, very small little inserts here and there, and the cracker crumbs that he's been dropping is that there's a regime change, the new regime, keywords like that, where it's everyone thinks that it's maybe the obvious person that the IRGC puts someone on YouTube and they say, no, we never said that, but that may not be the person that Trump is talking to. And
right, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
And when you have I mean, think about it. there's what, 5 Ayatollahs that, within every day they were getting.
Yeah, they were.
So the one that's been put in place may be the new regime, and the opposing faction may be the one getting on YouTube. They might still be at war internally for total control. So you've got old regime that basically got ousted by every Ayatollah that got whacked, and then you've got the new regime that Trump is talking to. Now you've got this fighting faction that wants that control. So I think potentially, again, this is my opinion, but I think that's what's going on here. And so what would require boots on the ground is to get rid of the old regime remnant. The guys in the boats launching the rockets that the new regime can't control because they're kind of just getting into position.
It's kind of like Venezuela right now, right? With that girl that's in power, Delia Rodriguez, whatever she is. Like she was just a 1 degree separation from Maduro, but obviously Trump can control that person, and he's controlling Venezuela through her, not disrupting anything just yet. It's kind of the same thing with Iran, right? We got to kind of keep the balance.
Yeah, but this new person, this new regime that they're talking to potentially might not have control over all of the, think about every military base in the United States. When Trump took over, did he have total control over, Miley and everyone else? No, there's this process that has to take place to make sure that your generals are going to be in line, that everyone below them are going to follow rank and file. And, that just takes time. And you're talking about days from when this happened. So, potentially there is turmoil within the ranks inside because there's still old regime that wants power. So
we're going to see rogue groups, rogue terrorists in their jet boats firing on tankers. That could last for years, to be honest with you, because you're not going to be able to control them all. But as long as we're controlling the threat of a nuclear war, as long as we've got that neutralized, that's where I see this going. And Trump even said, President told Fox News, Trey Yinks, that this is the last chance for Iran to agree to a deal, vowing to not make the same mistake as former President Obama. If Iran does not sign this deal, the whole country is getting blown up. That's what he said. I'm reading it verbatim. Trump said,
yeah.
But I mean, he still can't control these rogue groups.
Correct. And I think that I think that's part of why he has to position it from a very strong position to get those groups just through influence of their families, of everyone around them to stand down. Because I don't put it out of question that there still wouldn't be old generals, old people trying to be the new regime leader. The IRGC leader. So, and at the same time, our friends at the media, of course, they're going to speak to that other side to potentially throw some mud or egg on Trump's face during these very, very touchy negotiation times. So, time will tell, though.
Right, and I think people also need to really pay attention on what's happening here. So. This was breaking. Insiders just started massively dumping everything except oil right ahead of the U.S. market open on Monday. Every single insider is selling billions nonstop. Zero buys, 1,382 sells, 13.58 billion in volume. This is going to be really bad for markets. I don't know what the market's doing today. I haven't looked. BlackRock just started liquidating all their crypto ahead of the U.S. market open today. There are nonstop dumping millions of BTC and Seth every few minutes. They're dumping. Looks like a huge dump is coming on Monday. So all of this is kind of happening as Trump alluded to one of his posts saying the Great Reset, it's coming. And people need to start getting ready for this. We really need to understand what's coming. What's coming is this, folks. Now that the threats are neutralized, that means arrests are coming. Now, you got to remember, when I say threats neutralized, Maduro taken down, raids, ICE raids, taking down the cells that were going to be activated in America for such a time as now. Now Iran, the nuclear threat is taken out. So where is this leading? Well, we have a new AG, right? We have a new AG. Joseph Genova will be sworn in on Monday as counsel to the Attorney General to lead the Russian collusion hoax investigation. Folks, I've been talking to George Papadopoulos. I'm going to be bringing him on very soon. Again, we're going to be talking more about this. It's getting ready to hit. Believe me when I tell you it's going to hit, and it's going to be absolute fire. Joseph Genova, a former U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia and longtime Trump ally, has been tapped by the Justice Department to serve as counsel for counselors to the Attorney General. He will oversee an ongoing criminal investigation into the origins of the 2016 Trump-Russia probe, often referred to by critics as the Russia collusion hoax. This includes a probe into former CIA Director John Brennan, sparked by a House Judiciary Committee referral alleging he misled Congress about the CIA's use of the Steele dossier in intelligence assessments on Russian election interference. And as this is all happening, folks, you got lots of articles coming out about Kash Patel, discrediting Kash Patel, saying the FBI director is MIA. He's on a drinking binge. This couldn't be further from the truth, and that is why now Kash is, I believe, suing some of these syndicates. I think he's suing the Atlantic. Kash Patel has alarmed colleagues. So it says here, the FBI director is MIA. Kash Patel has alarmed colleagues with episodes of excess drinking and unexplained absences. On Friday, April 10th, as FBI Director Kash Patel was preparing to leave work for the weekend, he struggled to log into an internal computer system. He quickly became convinced that he had been locked out and then panicked, frantically calling aides and allies to announce that he has been fired by the White House. Apparently, this is false. And now Kash Patel is suing. He's going to be suing Bashes Media over Atlantic story, threatens with a lawsuit. So FBI Director Kash Patel has threatened to sue the Atlantic after the magazine reported that his colleagues have grown alarmed by what is described as episodes of excessive drinking and unexplained absences. So they're trying very hard right now to discredit Kash Patel. Because why? Because of what's coming, folks. And stay with me just for a second. Jason, I got to read this mid-roll, folks. It's time for chapter. Now, I got this done with my parents, and I suggest everyone do this as well. There's a phone line to call, Alex, if you want to. It's 212-433-2495. Folks, just some real talk for a second. You know me. I love this country. I love God, and I love my family. And when it comes to family, I don't play around. I've watched people close to me go through the Medicare process, and I'll be honest, and we all know this, it's confusing, it's overwhelming, and there are a whole lot of brokers out there more interested in their commission than in finding a plan that works for you. That didn't sit well with me, especially with what I'm going through with my parents. So I went looking for something better, not for clicks, not for sponsorships, but for my family and for you. That's why I partnered with Chapter and recommend this to everyone I know. They actually compared every Medicare plan available, which was ours, and they walk you through it in plain English, very simple to follow. They're very kind and very good people. No pressure, no games, just straight answers. And here's what I respect the most. If you're already on the right plan, they will tell you. That's the integrity of this company. On average, they've helped people save about $1,100 a year and much, much more. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, do yourself and your family a huge favor. Call Chapter today. The phone's right there. It's free. It takes about 20 minutes, and it could put real money back in your pocket, folks. Get started on it. Obviously, I had to do that. Lots of things that are very uncomfortable I've had to do. All right, Jason, let's get back on this. So they're saying here that Obama and his entire administration, including Hillary Clinton, were caught red-handed in a coup to overthrow President Trump and the United States government itself. Why did they do this? To maintain power and control, continue their taxpayer-fed money laundering and trafficking operations, and stay out of prison. You were gaslit with psychological operations funded with our own taxpayer dollars for years to hate the man that did nothing but stick up for you and to make this country a better place while they destroyed it. So I think it's all coming down now. I think threats have been neutralized. Do you see it the same way? You're military, you're a Mason, you understand strategy. Do you see this the same way? Like, it's coming?
Without a doubt. Matter of fact, it's interesting. While you were going through and talking about, what's about to drop, I keep remembering that moment where I literally jumped off the couch as Joe Biden was speaking, and he had that moment of senility where the truth came out, and he said, "We have the most extensive voter system created," or whatever the quote was, and I was like, What did he just say? I couldn't believe that he said it. I just could not believe that that came out of his mouth. And ultimately, that's where we're at. That's what's about to drop in all the connected tissue, everyone involved. It's a laundry list of people. And when that does happen, go ahead.
So do you think threats, I mean, do you think we've neutralized most threats, or do you think things are going to slip through the cracks? And obviously we're going to have what do you see happening? I know they're going to probably try to pull the plug.
I think that most threats, quite a few of them are already gone. But again, I go to the Lord quite often, and I'm on 8chan and 4chan, just doing research wherever I can.
Be careful with that talk on YouTube, because we are on FluffTube.
Oh, sorry. So anyways, yeah, but those outlets, a lot of former military, current military posts there. And so I do get a lot of intel from there. And this needed preparation. So, you saw little drops. You saw, most people don't even get to see how many sex traffickers across the United States have already been arrested. I believe it's somewhere right around 13,000 children returned to their homes. All of the connected tissue has all been, captured, cultivated, turned so that they can create these just a massive amount of evidence all the way to the top. So, they've got the low level, the mid level, and the list of all of the connected tissue assets that they now have are going to make this where it's unbeatable. And they had to do that, though, because there's just so many people, the elite, the influence, the money, the judges that are in pockets to everybody, everything that's involved. They had to make this ironclad. And I know, everyone wanted this done fast and immediate, but something like this, it has to take the time so that it's Teflon, so that it can't be beat. But at the same time, though, there's the fear that, you've got a divided country right now. And we don't want to go back into riot mode either. The delivery of this is going to have to be special.
And that's why they're using the MSN. That's the last power they have to get into the mind of people and use psychological warfare to really divide this country. And you're seeing it with podcasters, dude. People, I said this 6 years ago. I said when the time comes, get ready. Your favorite podcasters are going to turn on Trump. They're going to turn on the operation. They're going to be activated. Now, I don't know if it's mind control or they're being paid to turn on him. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, we saw that with the media. The CIA was directly informing the media all over the country. And I think that's why also, we're seeing a lot of desperation on the deep state's part. And most people don't even know that CBS has already been sold to a Republican. CNN is about to be purchased for $110 billion, I think it is, to that same person. So finally, the propaganda channels that reprogram people, not to the extent of like an ultra platform, but still, that everyone gets their information from these outlets. Some people are just used to it. The newer generation, they all get it from social media, and you see how much, crazy AI-driven video and everything else to disinform and create an alternative narrative. But the problem with the alternative narrative now is it's not clear and concise. It's all over the place. They got the whole Kash Patel thing from him being at the Olympics. And then they try to turn it into an alcohol related, he's drinking too much and blah, 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 blah. So,
they're desperate. This is them being so desperate. And you can see Trump now really nipping things in the bud right now, because he's neutralizing all the threats. And I want to make this very clear. He's neutralizing the alien card as well, because that was something they were going to play. That was in the playing cards. So President Trump has just announced the Department of War will be releasing files on UFOs imminently. The process is well underway and have found many very interesting documents. He says the process is well underway and we have found many very interesting documents. I must say, the first releases will begin very, very soon. So you can go out and see if that phenomenon is correct. Marco Rubio has come out and said the UFO bomb dropped a UFO bombshell. We shot down 4 things of the United States, and 3 of them we have no idea what they are. For the first time in 65 years, the United States shot something down over our airspace, not once, but 4 times. 3 of those 4 things, we have no idea what they are. We've been seeing objects flying over restricted airspace. Immediately, it was about UFOs and flying saucers and aliens. These are important questions the American people deserve to know. So, you have like Stephen Greer coming out. You have all these people in the UFO field coming out and saying what they are, what they think they are. You have Tucker Carlson saying that he believes they're entities. A lot of people believe these are the Nephilim, the fallen angels. I'm kind of like, I believe in a lot of gray. I don't know what's out there, but I'm sure there's probably beings on other planets. I'm also in the camp with there's a firmament. I think these are interdimensional intruders. What's your thoughts on this, Jason? What do you think these things are?
Well, I'm always going to revert back to the one and only document that tells me how to live my life, which is the Bible. Specifically for me, I read from the Codex Sinaiticus. A lot of your viewers probably don't know what that is, but that is
I don't even know what that is.
It's the original collection.
Okay.
So after the Last Supper and when Yeshua was crucified, the apostles were instructed at the Last Supper to go out and tell people what they've seen here. And so that turned into micro ministries from the apostles. And they went all over Europe and the Middle East and everywhere. And then you'd have followers that heard of what Matthew taught that was a little bit different than what Luke taught and what Apostle Thomas taught, and all of the apostles. And then they realized a couple hundred years later that all of these books are extremely important. So they collected them. And the language at the time was Greek. And it's the original collection was called the Codex Sinaiticus. You can look that up.
Interesting.
And the only reason why I read from that is because over time, the versions have been distorted. And I remember beginning when I was in Catholic catechism, in studying Catholicism, they'd tell me that the original Bible was in Latin and it was a dead language. And that's why there were so many versions, because it took, years and years and years to learn the correct Latin in order to then translate it correctly. And then I find out that that's all just a bunch of hooey. So, I always revert back to the source, but and that's really how I live my life. But going back to your original question, which actually now I need a refresh on.
What do you think they are? Entities, aliens, Nephilim masquerading as aliens?
Yeah. So first off, God tells us in Genesis 1, verse 2 through 7, that the firmament divides the waters from above and below. Think about it. If you're going to start a book, you're going to start a book with probably some of the most important things is, hey, I created the earth and this is how I protected you. I don't think we've ever left this planet, but that's just me.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. The Artemis 2 mission, that was a joke. The moon landing was a joke in the 60s. And it continues to just be a massive production that now people are finding flaws and mistakes. And it just
AI, green screen.
Yeah, and of course they do this Artemis moon voyage once AI comes out, right? Why didn't they do this 5 years ago?
Yeah, no. Hey, they can definitely go 25,000 miles an hour and then smash through the ozone layer that isn't the firmament and come back to Earth through 2,000 degrees when the melting point of aluminum is 1,200 degrees. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, it's an IQ test.
Yeah, no. So what I would revert back to is, and this is again localized to Earth. Look at one of the lead scientists, the biggest whistleblower of all time in that respect, which is Bob Lazar. He specifically talked about how he interviewed these entities, and he didn't call them aliens. He called them interdimensional beings. And potentially that's what they are, in that they are local here, but they have to travel from their imprisoned state to get here. And
imprisoned state, that's important. Imprisoned state, like hell. Would it be hell?
Yeah, because if you go back to the Old Testament, you read up on Noah. that didn't happen if the Earth didn't need to get cleansed. We need to get rid of, the Nephilim, the giants that were eating and consuming humans and everything else in their path. And so God, opened up the floodgates, so to speak, opened up the firmament to create the flood, to wash away everything. But it specifically says that the parents of the Nephilim, all right, the fallen angels, were imprisoned. So, and they were imprisoned in the depths of hell, Hades, whatever you want to call it. So,
right.
So yeah, to get out of that prison again, the Bible doesn't exist without all the parts. So God has to grant them any type of authority to do anything anyways. And so, in order for them to transfer from that state to here, Yahweh, God, would have to allow it. So, potentially, and that's leading to the climactic end of, the apocalypse. So, and then the total cleansing of the earth where, all fallen angels then are forever
casting a lake of fire.
Yeah, correct. So,
all right. So I'm going to get to some what the fuck news and take some questions. Stick around with me, will you?
Awesome.
All right, folks. And it's pretty crazy, dude, that we're connecting again after years. I met you, like 15 years ago, 10 years ago in Vegas?
Yeah, it was
Vegas where I met you.
I think it was 2014, 2013.
Damn,
right
dude, look how fast this goes, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Look where we're at now, man. Would you have ever
gray and everything?
You've always been gray, though. You were gray back then a little bit salt and pepper, but hey, man, you still look good, bro. All right, let's get to what the fuck news. Now, listen to this, dude. In what the fuck news, move over trans movement. Okay, yeah, move on over. If you're all still worried about men in women's sports, well, now both genders have something to worry about. You know what that is? Robots, AI, entering sports. A humanoid robot blew past everyone in the marathon and then sprinted to victory in Beijing, beating the human half marathon world record. A humanoid robot that won a half marathon race for robots in Beijing on Sunday ran faster than the human world record in a show of China's technological leaps. It's only a matter of time before these things are like walking on the city streets. They might already be among us. I don't know. The winner from Honor, a Chinese smartphone maker, completed the 21-kilometer, 13-mile race in 50 minutes and 26 seconds. Damn, 13 miles in 50 minutes. Not 15, 50, 50, and 26 seconds, according to the WeChat post by the Beijing Economic Technological Development Area, also known as Beijing E-Town, where the race kicked off. This was faster than the human world record holder, Uganda's Jacob Kibiblo, who finished the same distance in about 57 minutes. That's still damn fast. In March at the Lisbon Road Race, the performance by the robot marked a significant step forward from last year's inaugural race, during which the winning robot finished in 2 hours and 40 minutes. So then what? Next year, they're just going to keep breaking AI records. Never mind humans. Soon, these things will be competing in NFL. I don't know. Boxing, UFC. Are we going to be watching robot sports instead of humans? I mean, they're going to be doing things that we can have never imagined. Pretty crazy, man. I don't know. Dude, what do you think? Where's the trajectory of sports? I mean, you've been around a lot of UFC, boxing, combat sports. That's how I met you. I met you with Nick and Nate Diaz. What's your thoughts on this, dude? Like, where do you see all this shit going, bro? I don't think it's any good at all.
Look, I think the key to why I wouldn't watch an MMA fight by robots is the fact that it's an art.
Right.
You can't, like, what are you measuring? The source of their AI programmers?
Let's think about 10 years from now, dude. No, it's going to be gamers controlling the robots, I think.
Yeah, potentially. Because if they're not AI driven, like, where's the skill in that whatsoever? But
right.
Yeah, I can see how it's going to potentially be, I sent you a text not too long ago about Palantir. My overall concern with that too, because in the wrong hands, that becomes a big issue. And then in its own hands, it becomes an even bigger issue. So, it's like that controlling our entire military, and the more and more control that ends up having. I don't know. I think they're going to have a problem with recruitment. Like, who's going to go fight that battle, knowing that it's a computer that's telling them what to do? I don't know.
Dude, it's a huge question mark. It's like nobody knows. It's like this huge black box of who fucking knows. Like, this is crazy. Like, where we're going, we're no man has ever gone before, right? It's going to be that insane. Let's get to some super chats, Alex. Let's see what's up here. Let's get some questions in. Sometimes there's questions, sometimes there's not. Kelly Panetsky, 1576. Thank you so much. You show up every day. Thank you. Kelly Panetsky, you're back. Thank you so much for the super sticker. JD, Big Shot Blue. Sancho is time to release the Kraken. Oh, yeah, baby. You got it.
Yeah.
Iwan the Terrible. Ivan the Terrible. Why do I say Iwan? I thought that's what I saw. Ivan the Terrible. Hit the like button for Nino chat. Thank you. Kelly Ray, 1982. Thank you for all you do, David. Continuing prayers for you and your parents. Love you big. Thank you so much. Yeah, I need them. We all need them. I'm running on fumes right now. And I guess that's it for today, man. Not many.
Well, I would say this though. How you started this show is a testament to what prayer does. It was awesome to see and awesome to hear, man. I'm really, really happy to hear that your dad's getting discharged, brother. That's just amazing.
Man, dude, I know what time it is though, dude. I mean, he's going more repetitively into the hospital. I know where we're at, I know what time it is, and I just kind of, but dude, this merry-go-round of insanity is what's killing me. It's what's kicking my ass, is that I can only take so much of this, the beatings, the adrenaline, the shocks. It's like being hit with a defibrillator every time I get a phone call and the nurse says we're calling the ambulance. It's kicking my ass, dude. I'm emotionally just worn out, bro.
I get it.
But it's both my parents. I'm not dealing with one. My mom has severe dementia. My dad has moderate. He still got some of his wits about him, but they're both on a wheelchair bound, laying in bed. I mean, it's just tough, dude, to see your people you love so much suffer. But I asked them, are you suffering? My mom thinks, no, I'm having a great time. She just didn't know where the fuck she's at. And then my dad, it's, he says I bring him tacos and steaks and he's still eating. So he's still got his appetite, so we're just taking care of him, dude.
Jason, going back to, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, going back to topic at hand, I sent you the basically the 9 things outside of the 7, the seals that have to all be broken in order. But if you look at those 9, actually 10 things that need to happen, we're at about 7 right now, between 6 and 7. But not to give you overhope, but both your parents, they're here for a reason. And at the end of this, there's many that believe that there's a rapture where everyone goes to heaven, and then there's also those that believe that happens for the people that are passed already, but then the remainder live on heaven on earth here for 1,000 years. So
right. We're close to that, huh?
So, well, because life, like we knew Abraham lived for however many hundreds of years, and life expectancy was a heck of a lot longer back then. And, that's what after the second coming, that's what it talks about too. So, I don't know, you might be surprised. You might get a lot
I hope so, man. That's all I can say. I just hope so, bro.
Yeah.
Jason, thank you so much for joining me, man. This was a killer show. I think everyone enjoyed it. Please hit that like button. Jason, where do you want people to follow you? You want people to reach out to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get that. I was on the show you had a while back when we were talking about what was going on militarily. And I answered a few questions, and then you got some haters out there. Not you specifically, but people
you gotta have the haters, or you gotta have both. It's just the way it is.
I know
you're not doing anything right if you don't have them, to be honest.
Yeah, no, but I don't mind the questions at all. I can handle whatever.
What do you want people to follow? Do you have X or what is it?
So I'm Jason _Gobain at on Instagram. I mostly do Instagram.
Mainly Instagram. So Jason _Gobain on Instagram. How do you spell Gobain? Gobeyn?
Yes, sir.
All right. Jason _Gobain on Instagram. Follow him. He's a good friend of mine. Jason, thank you so much for joining me. We're out of here, folks. Thank you. And the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and the black sheep of broadcasting, baby. Later.